welcome back to another video. If you guys don't know who I am Maya, and let's just get started in today's video. Alright guys, so we're here. Just got my Starbucks, my little pink drink for today. We have our sips. As you can tell by the title of this video, I am going to be actually showing you guys, walking you through a bunch of different ways for how to study your Bible, how to work through the whole entire thing, because as you guys know, if you guys don't know, I finished the Bible for the first time this last year in 2020, which the timing was impeccable. I've learned so much. My relationship with God has been strengthened so much, and I just feel like right now especially is a really, really awesome opportunity for that. So I've been getting a lot of questions from you guys as to what Bible I use, what things I do when I go and study my Bible, and also just people who are interested in starting and don't know where to start. I want to help you guys with all of that and invite you guys into it, and hopefully you guys are encouraged by this video because I know you guys liked my other video that I made. You can check this one out right here. If you're interested in knowing more, learning more, this video is for you, and I just want to help you guys, and I feel like I know this is something that has transformed my life. Let's get into the different tips, but before we get started, I did want to make a disclaimer. I already planned for this video to go out today, but I feel like it's still something that we need. I just want to do this in like the most loving way. I did actually want to make a disclaimer just about everything that happened recently at the Capitol. I just want to make a disclaimer as far as making sure that you guys know I don't stand with racism, with violence, with division, and what happened at the Capitol is very heartbreaking, and I know many are hiding behind Christ's name, and I just want you guys to know that that is not what I stand for. It's not what I believe in, and it's, as a Christian, that is not what we are built to be. We're called to love everybody. We're called to pray for our enemies and pray just for everyone, pray for peace, and I feel like right now, even just, diving into my Bible, it's transformed who I am as a person, and I feel like that's where we need to start, is just as individuals, how are we going to love other people and treat other people. I just wanted to make a disclaimer because a lot of people did stand behind those acts and use Christian as a thing that they stand behind, but that is not what Christ has called us to be. He's called us to be full of grace and love and peace. Love doesn't discriminate or have boundaries. And yeah, I just wanted to put that out there because I hope that when you guys come to this channel, you feel loved, you feel heard, and you feel welcome. So with all that being said, I do have a lot of exciting things to tell you about how I work through my Bible. So I had to take off my glasses because there was glare. I have blue light filter in it. So anyways, this is vulnerable for me. I feel like not the same person without my glasses on, but anyways, we're gonna get started. So the first step is literally just starting. Starting is the hardest part of, this whole journey, because this Bible is thick. This Bible has a lot of books in it, and a lot of it is hard to understand, especially if you're reading it for the first time. It can be really intimidating, and so I think just starting is the biggest part. Oh, also I have tips on here so I don't go on a tangent. Anyways, once you honestly find your routine and you start integrating it into your day, just a little bit every single day, you're going to find that momentum to continue, and you're going to probably notice the difference that it makes when you have it in your routine. Okay, so as far as Bibles, which one should you get? Because first of all, you need a Bible. There is a free app on the App Store if you guys want to try that, but if you guys are like me and need something tangible to read through and write on and highlight and just have with you, I think this is a great option to have a hardcover book, or flip through a book. I would recommend, even if you are going to use the app on your phone, to eventually get one of these, because it'll be really cool to look back and see all of your work in here and just how much time you spent in here. So as for which one, I would recommend getting NASB. That version is a really good version as far as staying close to the original, but also one that you can understand. That is the version that I have, but they're not as popular as far as the journaling Bibles. So if you want to try ESV, that's also another version that is a lot easier to understand. You definitely want to be careful with what versions you have, just so they're not too far away from what it's actually trying to say, but I think ESV is also a good one. As far as different kinds, this Bible that I have is actually just a regular standard Bible. I got this when I was 8 years old. My dad had my name engraved in here, and it had a butterfly on it. It's super cute. Anyways, it doesn't have a lot of room on the side for writing or for drawing if you guys are into that. So I would recommend getting a journaling Bible where you have more room to write or draw. So there there are journaling Bibles all over the place. I can link a few that I like down below, but also there's some on Amazon, Etsy, there's some on like Lifeway or Majesty Bibles. So next thing, once you get started, once you have a Bible, you want to start small and create a goal that is sustainable for you. My goal was to read 3 chapters a day. For some, that might be too many. For some, that might be too little, and you might feel like you can maintain a different goal. So whatever you think is going to be sustainable. For some people, 1 chapter might be good. For some, 10 might be better. It's all up to you guys, but it's better to start small and make it a habit. And then if you feel like you can tackle more every single day, then I would recommend upping it from there. Okay, so as for your overall plan, I'd recommend just working on a book at a time. Just keep it simple. There's a whole bunch of plans that you guys can follow if you guys want to do it chronological, New Testament, Old Testament, Old Testament, New Testament. For me, I started with Genesis, which is the first book of the Old Testament. I worked all the way through the Old Testament and then started the New Testament, but it's all up to you guys. I would just recommend keeping it at like 1 book at a time, and when you're done, maybe writing down when you finish that book. So I really just want to focus more on what my daily routine is, and so if I'm starting a new book, this is what I do. I would see the name of the book, and there's room around it for me to write information, so that's what I did. I really want to make sure that I understand the context of what I'm about to read and just get a good understanding before, so I really look at the author and who it's written to, the audience, things like that. I usually research. And something that I did and I found really helpful, I would go to Pinterest, search up big ideas with whatever the book was called right after it, and it'll come up with the main ideas for that book. Like, let's say I was looking at the book of Jeremiah, so I would put Jeremiah, book of the Bible, big ideas. That might help you, might be a good tip. That's just what I do right when I'm starting a new book. Once I'm done with that, then I can start getting into the verses. So a couple essentials that you're probably going to need: pens, highlighters. I would definitely recommend maybe having Post-its, and I'll link down some products or different things I've used in the past down below if you guys want to check those out. Like I said, there's 2 different ways of studying. So let's break it down into 2 different types. There's journaling and there's micro-journaling, or you can do a combo of both of them. So if we're talking about journaling, we're mostly talking about maybe you draw pictures or things that remind you of the story or the idea or kind of what your thoughts were on the side, maybe just writing out verses that really stick out to them, making it look cute, all that stuff. With micro-journaling, which is someone who just writes everything, circles, underlines, I just have words all over this and like arrows, all that stuff. I do that. Me being a micro-journaler, these are some things that I do. Underline big ideas. If it's talking about a certain person, I usually circle that person's name and I underline like near it their main description. And then I'll either write on the side or I'll outline a series of events. I draw arrows seriously everywhere, pointing out connections from one thought to another, from my thoughts to the verses on the page. I write down thoughts, encouragements, reminders, truths that I want to highlight, and sometimes I even write parts of the verses all around the sides, ones that I want to see up close, box things. Yeah, I have tons of different things that I do. I just try to make things stand out. I mean, there's so much stuff that's important in here, but I find that it's really helpful for me to get a pen out. I have Post-it notes. I use colored pens so that I know different days that I went in to do it. But yeah, like I said, that is what's really helped me to make it through each day. Because if I'm reading, I get distracted more. Just making sure that you understand it and that you're getting something out of it too. But it's totally up to you, because some people, like my mom, she can read things like so fast, and I'm like, did you even start reading? And she's like, yeah, I read it all. I'm a slower reader, so I need more time to digest it and just spend time like writing all over the place, because it helps me to remember it more. So now that we've talked about ways to work through your Bible, there's so much goodness in here, guys. All the verses in here are so good. And so I just want to tell you guys a couple ways of how you guys can track your reading. One way that I did was writing down the book at the front of my Bible once I finished that book. So that was a way for me to visually see. Another one I crossed off my list, and it was really encouraging just to look back as that list would grow. So I can literally turn back to this front page and see the order of the books that I finished when I finished them. And I think that is the coolest thing. But as that list grew, I felt more and more encouraged. I felt like I was accomplishing something and actually making a dent in this, because sometimes it can feel like you're just not going anywhere. And you don't have to have it in your Bible. You can have this in a different chart or something, write it down. That is one way that I did it. So another way that I've tried and have seen other people do is if you create a chart of all the different books of the Bible and then you like slowly color in a book once you've finished it. That's another one that I have seen people like, and it's another visual way of seeing the progress that you're making. Another option is for each day of the month, you can actually write down beforehand what chapters you're going to need to tackle for that day if you want to stay on track. This is like Enneagram 3 people, you know, type 1, you need a plan and you need to know what chapters you need to go into. And so if that's something that helps you, is seeing it beforehand what chapters you need to read, I would suggest writing that out, maybe having a separate calendar so that you guys know what you're supposed to do each day. For other people, if you guys get maybe intimidated or you feel like you're going to get behind if you write down chapters beforehand and then you don't accomplish that and then you have all this to catch up on, I would suggest writing down the chapters that you finish after you've already finished it, because let's say your goal is to go into the day reading 3 chapters, and let's say you only are able to read 1 chapter. Sometimes I would do that because maybe I wasn't feeling that good, you know, it was a really busy day, I felt overwhelmed. Different things are going to come up sometimes. So if you're able to get 1 chapter in, that's amazing. So just write that chapter down after you finish it, and then you're not going to feel as stressed or behind, and you aren't going to lose your momentum, because if you feel behind, like you have all this to catch up on, that's when your habit might break and you might stop because you just feel overwhelmed, unless it's like you only have a little bit left. Because when I was about to finish my Bible, I wanted to make sure that I finished before the end of the year because it was a huge goal that I had in mind. So something that I did was, for the last 12 days worth of Bible reading that I needed to do, I did make like 12 different boxes of what chapters I needed to read just to stay on track, but I didn't color it in until I was done. So if I skipped a day, then I would just finish that day the next day, and I didn't associate it with a certain day because I didn't want to feel behind, but it's a good way to visualize it. Okay, this girl, I've been talking for so long, but this is the first year that I finished all the way through, and so it is something that takes a long time. I think I started this goal in 2019, but I didn't really develop that habit where I was able to maintain it in 2019, so then 2020 was really where I finished it. Oh, also guys, this is like probably one of the coolest things. I was just looking back at my first page and I didn't even remember that I wrote this down, but it says, I finished reading and annotating the entire Bible on December 10th, 2020. 2020 was a year of challenges for sure, but diving into my Bible during this time ended up being the perfect timing. And I truly believe that. I truly believe that this is what got me through 2020. And I mean, he's so constant and he's so loving and graceful. So I wanted to share that because it's something, like I said, that has transformed my life. It's given me purpose. So my goal going into 2020 was to finish annotating, reading the entire Bible, making sure my whole Bible is written in, because I think this is a really cool thing to think about. If I do have kids in the future, I think it would be the most amazing thing to pass this off to my daughter or my son or sons, daughters, and my family, and they can look back at all of this. I just think it's really, really cool because this is like my experience reading my Bible, but yours would be so different too. Alright, well now that we've finished, there's not too much else to do, but you guys definitely need to subscribe down below, become a honey, and I'm really grateful for you guys. I'm really grateful for you guys clicking on this video, so hopefully you guys enjoyed it. If you did, don't forget to like the video, and I will be back with you very shortly. Don't forget to check out the bloopers at the end of this video. I'm sure there were very many. I will see you guys next time. Bye, honey. And I'm super... What am I saying? Okay, let's keep going. Can't get my thoughts together. Guys, I've been talking a lot. I'm passionate about this stuff.